Hi, today I'm going to play about with different types of spiraling and texturing tools. Um, I've got a set of them. I've got the Sorby full-size one, which comes with, I don't know what it comes with when you buy it, because I got it second hand, but it comes with a cog that is double-sided, and this is a texturing tool, so it comes to a point. And then it's got three different sized cogs which are faceted, and you use these for creating a spiral type effect normally on a spindle. You can create like a barley twist type arrangement. You've got three different types of cog, different TPI, and these have got bearings in the middle, and you have a frame that you put on the shaft when you're using the cog spiraling system, because this has got a series of angular marks on the outside which allows you to orientate the cog in a repeatable position relative to the horizontal 5 or 10 degrees off one way or the other way, and that affects the spiral or the texture, and it becomes repeatable by you resetting it to the relevant angle on here. I've also got a small one which is the Crown mini texturing system, and this at the moment has got the pointy texturing wheel on it. This actually is a Robert Sorby texturing wheel, because they are a lot cheaper to buy the individual wheels from Robert Sorby mini system than the Crown mini system, about half the price. So I took a chance, and it fits without a problem. The basic system also comes with the two, similar to the Sorby full-size cog system, which has got again teeth and a facet. These don't come with bearings. They have a simple brass nut that you bolt that you sort of tighten up. You have to be careful, because if you touch this on your workpiece, it'll catch. It can also come unscrewed. So I always tighten this on with pipe wrench, so it's nice and tight. There is a small amount of slack in here, which means that even if you do tighten it up, the gap between the U shape is enough that it won't actually jam the bearing. So I've also got on the texturing system, I've got this is an Axminster 3/8 wide 16 TPI knurling tool, which creates a textured pattern as well, which you can use in different ways. And then I've got an old-fashioned, chatter tool, and that's a piece of spring steel, basically gripped in a handle, and this is for end grain marking when you use this, and it sort of vibrates and chatters and creates a chattery mark. So that's what I've got. That's what I'm going to play with and see how they all. And by the way, thank you to Paul, who made up this excellent piece of foam board. That's a little display board for me for when I'm doing these sorts of videos. Thank you, Paul.
So I got a bit of beech, about 75mm in diameter, and I'm just truing that up now, so we've got a nice cylinder to experiment with. So I'm using the Robert Sorby large tool with the, I think it's sort of 3mm cutter, the middle one on. The suggestion is that you always put the screw in facing the flat side of the bevel of the cog, and there are 3 washers that you need to put in, 2 for the recess and 1 at the top. So I've adjusted it so the tool rest is about 3 or 4 inches away, so that the flat of the carrier is sitting on it, and I've rotated the cog about 1 notch to the side, and I've got it so that the contact point for the tip of the cog is out on the centre, so that means that the tool rest and the tool itself is slightly above centre. So I've just plunged in at about 1000 revs. The cutting edge is the bevel angle, the angle between the cog teeth and the bevel itself. So I'm now just gently levering it into the wood. Firm grip, but after I've started that bit of a bevel, a bit of a spiral that you first saw, it's just about actually getting the teeth to sort of find that spiral again. So with the spiral mark firmly started, you go back in again, let the teeth start spinning within the actual spiral, and then you can just move it backwards and forwards, allowing the tool to do the work. You do need a fairly strong push. This works obviously best in hardwoods. Anything soft will start going fluffy, but you do need a fair bit of shove when it's beech. So what I'm doing now is adjusting the cog and turning it in the opposite direction to how it was turned before. So and I've turned it to sort of 2 notches as opposed to 1 notch, so that the spiral should now go in the opposite direction. Same process, nice firm grip, good steady plunge in, and allow it to pick up the spiral. That's a nice clean crisp pattern going in the opposite direction. So I'm now going to continue with it, but I'm going to go right over the top of the previous one and create a crisscross effect. And that's quite effective. So basically something similar now, using the small crown mini texturing wheel, done in pretty much the same way. So that was quite effective, but I've now swapped over to the texturing tool, which is beveled on either side. Now going to create the orange peel type effect, so called, by plunging in and moving the tool gently side to side. Again, nice firm push. So now I put on the big texturing wheel on the big Sorby, and I'm just now messing about doing some orange peel type effect, and the effect's not dissimilar to the small one, as you'd expect, and a straight plunge in will give you a series of dots depending upon the speed. So now I've just turned the texturing wheel to about 45 degrees, and I'm running that left to right in the one direction and then left to right in the other direction. Basically it's just shredding the surface of the wood. Not particularly useful, I don't think, but it might create a texture that's of use somewhere. So now I'm using the texturing wheel held on a slight angle so that the corner bites into the wood one way and then the other way, and you create a sort of little stipple, dimple type effect. And then by plunging straight in, it's a bit harder because you need to put quite a lot of force on it. You do create a gently textured crisscross effect. This is from an earlier experiment. It's a piece of beech, again, a small piece, using the coarse tool, and I'm trying to see if I can create a spiral by allowing it to bite. It wasn't very successful because the teeth seemed to bounce off rather than actually cut, but with some perseverance I got somewhere eventually. I think I'd need quite a bit of practice before I could say I could create this as an effective spiral straight off the tool. So anyway, I persevered with a round nose file, and quite some time later, finally managed to get something that was potentially going to be usable somewhere. There are a number of good videos out there on YouTube. Check them out. Nick Agar's one is particularly good, I think.